would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Who puts the network in jeopardy? You hear that? There's the threat again. This time straight from FCC Biscuit's mouth. He goes, he says, I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening ABC.
Well, he is a cruel, criminal, and mentally unstable man. And Duty to Warn was a book that came out when he was first in office. Psychiatrists across the country who don't ever really diagnose people that they don't serve personally came together and made a book, Duty to Warn, to tell the world what a narcissistic, mentally ill person.
Donald Trump has fired Attorney General Pam Bondi. Let me repeat that. Donald Trump has fired Attorney General Pam Bondi. According to multiple sources and as reported by the Daily Mail and others, Pam Bondi was begging not to be fired last night before Donald Trump gave the address to the nation when Trump told her, I'm going to fire you. She was begging over and over again. We're hearing it was very dramatic. She was almost crying. Please don't fire me. Well, she just got fired moments ago. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will now serve as the acting Attorney General. Donald Trump posted a message that Pam Bondi will now be in private practice. She will be far away from the government, although she'll probably use her private practice job to do things with the government, but more on that later. Pam Bondi is a great American patriot, Donald Trump posted, and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my Attorney General over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. They were already plummeting under former President Biden. Donald Trump goes, "We love Pam." I'll translate that for you. "Don't tell anybody about the Epstein secrets, Pam." He goes, "We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector." Pause there. What, probably helping people get pardons with your administration, with her family? "To be announced at a date in the near future." Why would you have anything to do with?
In November 2011, Donald Trump sat at his desk in Trump Tower and shot a video. A little vanity production. Trump doing what Trump does, making predictions about lesser men. "Our president will start a war with Iran," he said, looking directly into the camera, "because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran." He then tweeted versions of this prediction at least 7 times over the next 2 years.
Got 2 of them. He wrote, Trump wasn't on the ballot and shutdown were the 2 reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. Now, if Republicans had won and he wasn't on the ballot, would he take credit for that? Oh, yes, he definitely would, but he lost. And then he posted this. He posted, "And so it begins," which was either a response to Mamdani winning the mayoral race or he just said...
Bang. And then we have the apparent attempted assassination of Trump, which is also, very disturbing and very upsetting that I heard J.D. Vance talking about the left has to settle down their rhetoric. This is all the right's rhetoric. This is not the left's rhetoric. This is what you did, J.D. Vance, with the Haitians. That's what you did, and Donald Trump did. Just like when he picked out 2 black women and accused them of cheating in the election and ruined their lives. Remember that? People have a short memory. He doesn't care who he hurts, how he hurts them, or how much it hurts them. He will do what he wants and what he needs to survive, and he's in survival mode. There's no doubt about it.
That. And our Deputy Attorney General, a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. As I mentioned, the Daily Mail exclusive, Bondi begged Donald Trump not to fire her during dramatic White House showdown, as Insider reveals his final straw. Also, The Daily Mail reporting that Trump told Pam Bondi shortly before the Iran speech on Wednesday night that she would soon be fired. Trump's reasoning for the sudden dismissal comes in part because the president believes Bondi tipped off Eric Swalwell about the FBI's efforts to release investigative documents relating to his relationship with Christine Thing. I think it has a lot more to do with the Epstein files and the cover-up that Donald Trump wanted being botched by Pam Bondi. But okay, this was the moment where state regime media, which calls itself Fox News, confirmed that Pam Bondi was out as AG and Todd Blanche would be the interim AG. I want you to watch the moment that took place. Let's play this clip.
Kaylee, I just got off the phone with President Trump. We have a big scoop. Pam Bondi will soon leave her job as the Attorney General. She is going to get a different job within the administration. It doesn't sound like there is any bad blood between her and President Trump, but it does seem like they want her to go and do something else. And in an interim role, she will be replaced by Todd Blanche, who is currently her deputy at the Justice Department. So it doesn't sound like Blanche is being elevated long term to the Attorney General. There might be somebody else that the president wants to go in there. But President Trump soon will announce to the entire world that it is the end of Pam Bondi's time as the Attorney General. He still thinks that she is a great person and that she did a good job. And he still wants her in the fold because she will still be an important part of the administration.
In order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran. Now that Obama's poll numbers are in tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. Don't let Obama play the Iran card in order to start a war in order to get elected. Be careful, Republicans. Remember what I predicted a long time ago, that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly. Not skilled. Obama completed 2 full terms without attacking Iran.
Have you been enjoying Trump's most ridiculous distraction from the Epstein files yet? The president claims he's the victim of a triple sabotage during his visit to the United Nations building in New York on Tuesday. The teleprompter wasn't working. There were issues with the sound system, and most nefariously of all, his escalator stopped.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
He tells me, but no longer as the top law enforcement officer of the United States. That, at least for a little while, is going to be.
Now, what are some of the Democratic Congress members saying? Look, Pam Bondi is set to have her deposition taken before the House Oversight Committee on April 14th. She's still under subpoena, so what's going to happen to that? Democratic Congress member Maxwell Frost posts, Pam Bondi still has to testify under oath in front of the Oversight Committee regarding the Epstein files. This does not get her out of that bipartisan, lawful subpoena. We will see her soon. Democratic Congresswoman Summer Lee posts, so glad I didn't listen to James Comer when he told me to stop bitching about impeaching Bondi and holding her accountable. As you're aware, Congresswoman Lee was leading the impeachment efforts, and the impeachment documents were going to be introduced as soon as Democrats took control of Congress, and Bondi would have been impeached. Pablo Manriquez, Midas Touch DC correspondent, writes, someone needs to find Jamie Raskin so he can say, who's the washed up loser lawyer now? Bondi. Remember though, last week too, there was a sign that I was focused on a lot that Bondi's days were numbered when MAGA Republican Congress member James Comer was also throwing Bondi under the bus.
He signed the JCPOA nuclear agreement in 2015 instead. Then Donald Trump became president. His poll numbers went into tailspin. His approval dropped to 36%. The Epstein files were about to drop. He had lost the midterm preview in every state legislative election the Democrats entered. And on February 28, 2026, without congressional approval, he started a war with Iran. On the morning the bombs dropped, Rosie O'Donnell, living in political exile in Ireland after Trump threatened to strip her of her U.S. citizenship and called her a threat to humanity.
It's worse every day.
Well, I think the Justice Department has botched this. I don't think anyone in America, Republican or avid Trump supporter, would defend the way that this has been rolled out. Having said that, it's very complicated because of all the lawsuits. And here's another thing.
And let's just rewind a little bit and watch Bondi's career collapse. Remember back in February when Bondi gave that interview on state regime media, right when they pulled that stunt with the influencers at the White House holding the fake Epstein files, that little thin binder. And then she's like, okay. That wasn't it, but I've got the files on my desk. Remember that? Play this clip.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Remember when she called Jamie Raskin a washed up lawyer? Remember that? You were a washed up loser lawyer. Okay, Pam Bondi, you're telling a constitutional scholar Congress member that he's a washed up loser lawyer? Okay, here, play this clip.
I mean, you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay.
Remember Bondi's crash out over Epstein, her famous line, the Dow is over 50,000. Here, play this clip.
Went on Instagram and posted the old Trump tweets side by side. She captioned it simply, "He lies only and always," and impeach Trump. And Jimmy Kimmel, that same night on live television, played the 2011 Trump video clip, watched it play all the way through and said, well, look at that. Another prediction he got right. Nostradamus has done it again. He then said, when your best friend was a pedophile and you're losing bigly in the swing states with an election coming up, what do? I'll tell you what you do. You fire the weapons of mass distraction. And that is the story we are telling tonight.
Right. And Trump has been desperately trying to convince anyone who'll listen that Democrats are responsible for the shutdown and that it has nothing to do with him trying to hide the Epstein files. The gaslighting has reached a fever pitch as Trump cuts off the supply of food to children, families, senior citizens, etc. But Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, wants you to know, just because they're cutting off your food and want to cut off your health insurance.
Every single day, he just grants my perception of him as correct. By his actions, by his words, by his horrible Truth Social that is failing. And, he is the kind of person that is a grifter. And he is an evangelical preacher to people who believed that Celebrity Apprentice was true.
The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan. Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year.
And then remember the stunt Bondi tried to pull 3 weeks ago, where you could see how desperate she was with 24 hours notice, the way she tried to get out of her April 14th subpoena date where she's going to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee. She showed up in front of the House Oversight Committee on 24 hours notice voluntarily. She's like, I'm showing up to talk to you about Epstein. And then she's like, I'm going to tell you everything I would say at the deposition, but I'm just not going to do it under oath. And the Democrats walked out. They're like, we're not going to be with this charade. Like, we're not going to be there at all. Like, you're just trying to get out of your subpoena deposition. And the Democrats walked out.
Two people, one a comedian in Los Angeles, one a comedian in exile in County Cork, both doing the same thing. Reading Donald Trump's own words back to him, letting the receipts speak, watching him lose his mind about it from the White House. This channel runs on zero corporate money. $9 a month keeps it alive. Link in the description. Now let's lay out the full story, from Trump Tower in 2011 to Ireland in 2026. Let's start with Rosie.
It's worse every day. I feel like we're in a dystopian nightmare and no one is doing anything about it. I don't understand how he's able to get away with the things he gets away with, breaking the law, the emoluments clause, taking bribes, blackmailing people. He's a criminal con man. And if you grew up in New York, as I did, you knew this your whole life. We watched his planes get repossessed off the runway at LaGuardia. We watched him try to sell steaks and cologne in a fake university, steal money from charities that his family can't even have a charity anymore in New York City, in the New York State, because they had stolen money from kids' cancer charities. There's no way you can look at the facts about this man and believe in him still. You have to have willful blindness.
And then she left and people are like, so are you going to try to avoid your April 14th deposition? You know, you're still under subpoena. And she was like, I will follow what the law says. Well, if you were going to follow what the law says, you shouldn't be covering up the Epstein files, and you're still concealing millions of documents. Here, play this clip.
Sure. Earlier this month, a bipartisan group of lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena you to appear for a closed-door deposition. Will you commit to complying with that subpoena and appearing for a closed-door deposition?
I made it crystal clear I will follow the law.
Most recently, Donald Trump said, though, that Bondi is terrific. She's proving how tough she is. The next 3 years, she's going to really prove how tough she is. And again, this was pretty recently when Donald Trump said this, so just goes to show you he'll make comments like that, and then he'll fire you in a second, even if you beg the way Pam Bondi was apparently begging. Here, let's play the clip of Donald Trump saying, she's terrific. She's proving how tough she is. Play this clip.
Not going to let anything bad happen to this country. Also with us are Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's a terrific person and fan. And she's proving how tough she is, and I think the next 3 years she's going to really prove it, right? Huh? Like these people.
And then I guess to try to save her job before she was fired. Remember, she was on state regime media recently saying,
because to understand why she is so effective at getting under Trump's skin, and she is demonstrably the single person alive with the greatest demonstrated ability to send him into a documented spiral, you need to understand where this started. It started on The View in 2006. Rosie O'Donnell was a co-host. Donald Trump was the host of The Apprentice and the owner of the Miss USA pageant. A contestant named Tara Conner had been caught in a substance use scandal. Trump held a press conference and announced magnanimously, in his own telling,
you guys dropped the ball on Trump so much for this country that you guys, the mass media, is to blame. To equate him and Hillary Clinton and act as though they were the same. To equate Hunter Biden and the billion-dollar criminal crime family Trumps is ridiculous. And you guys never did a Google search to say he was bankrupt 6 times. So when I said it on the...
I mean, seriously, what is that supposed to mean? What would motivate him to post, and so it begins at almost midnight? What would compel him to contact his social media guy, Dan Scavino, that late at night to say, Dan, I need you to post, and so it begins. All caps, Mr. President. Yeah, all caps, you idiot, and put a ... in front of it.
Being a citizen in this country is a privilege. It's not a right. It's quite literally a constitutional right if you're a citizen in the United States. But she goes, it's a privilege. This was her trying to save her job. Here, let's play this clip.
Lied about their marriage to get in this country. You can't do that. Being a citizen in our country is a privilege. It's not a right. And Donald Trump is going to have everyone in this country who deserves to be here, who's a citizen. And yeah, sure, it could be faster, it could be easier, but I think we're moving at lightning speed, given what we're up against.
I'm thinking about the Old Dominion shooter.
So Pam Bondi's days are numbered. She botched botched Donald Trump's desire to cover up the Epstein files. By the way, did you see our 5:30 a.m. video this morning where we perfectly predicted and called what was going to happen, right? Now they're going to bring in new people. Lee Zeldin, the EPA director, he's being considered to be the new attorney general. Right now, Todd Blanche is going to fill the role of acting attorney general. But bye-bye, Pam Bondi. See you later. You're fired. See you later, Pam Bondi. And remember, recently we saw Kristi Noem fired, and then we've seen everything going on behind the scenes, there with her family and the hypocrisy. Pam Bondi's now gone, and now we're hearing Tulsi Gabbard is basically next. And I think there's a commonality to that. They're all women, in my view. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
That Connor would be allowed to retain her title. He presented himself as the moral authority, the guy extending grace. Rosie watched this from the co-host chair at The View and said what she thought. She called him a snake oil salesman and pointed out that Trump was not exactly a paragon of moral virtue, listing his business failures, his infidelities, his documented track record. She ended with, "Sit and spin, my friend," and did a bit mocking his comb-over by pulling her shoulder-length hair over her face to imitate the Trumpian pompadour.
A very unwell man.
Yeah, I agree.
In many ways, physically and mentally. The president's saying that I'm a threat to humanity.
Yeah.
That's the president of the United States.
Saying that, yeah.
Now, when our feud started some 20-something years ago, he was a joke of a reality show guy that nobody respected or took seriously. He is a very unwell man.
Yeah, I agree.
In many ways, physically and mentally.
Donald Trump seemed to be the only one who was unhappy last night as the stars of the MAGAverse descended to party in New Hampshire, stars including the Klan mom herself.
Nikki Haley was defeated. The problem is she's going to be dumb enough and she's going to be a fake candidate and she's going to keep going and we're going to destroy her in South Carolina.
He is scared. He is panicked. And once again, he shut down the White House to the press. He kicked all the media out as soon as he got horrible news yesterday that both the James Comey and Letitia James indictment were dismissed by a federal judge after Trump got more bad news about the disastrous direction of the economy, after Donald Trump got more disastrous news about his foreign policy blowing up in his face, his fake ceasefire deal in Gaza exposed as there is no ceasefire, the war in Ukraine raging bigger than it ever was before. You have Russia unleashing more ballistic missiles in Kyiv. You've got Ukraine attacking near Moscow. Ukraine actually showing what strength through actual power means. Donald Trump is showing utter weakness. So let me just show you the moment where on right-wing media, on this MAGA channel right here called RSBN, they basically find out that Trump has shut down the White House to the press. And they're like, I think he was supposed to talk to us, but I guess he's shut it down to the press. Here, play this clip.
It's about to be 5 o'clock on the East Coast.
Trump went nuclear. He called her a loser. He said she was a woman out of control. He threatened to sue her. He went on a tour of morning shows and entertainment programs describing her in terms so consistently vicious that The View eventually had to issue a statement clarifying that Trump had never personally gone bankrupt, even though his businesses had, because O'Donnell's claim that he had was legally vulnerable. And crucially, he never let it go. Not in 2008, not in 2011, not in 2016 when he was asked by Megyn Kelly at the first Republican primary debate about calling women fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals.
Interesting. How come we never heard from the hospital or the doctors? How come we never heard from anyone but his fake doctor, whose name he doesn't recall? I'm really, flabbergasted at how much he gets away with. I really am. Don't let him get away with anything else, people. And come on, one of you young, hungry journalists, young, somebody in your 20s, just out of college, do a big piece on this. Make it a whole YouTube story.
As of right now, it's still closed press at the White House. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the broadcast at this point. That's the directive I've received. So we're going to do that.
And then before, I guess they fully uncovered that Trump was not going to speak to the press at all because Donald Trump was having a panic attack and he was probably throwing ketchup all around, right? Hide the ketchup, everybody. They were like, we think he's going to sign an executive order about healthcare, and maybe that's what he's going to do, but it's shut off to the press. Here, let's play this other one right here.
We know that the president will be signing executive orders today. We're hearing that it's about healthcare. However, right now, as you see at the bottom, I believe it says, it's just covering the latest, but we do have a closed press currently for that Oval Office meeting for that executive order signing. So that means no press will be airing this live.
So one of the things that went down as well is that Donald Trump, everything he does is just like erratic. It's not planned. It's not well thought out. Well, he was apparently going to announce a healthcare plan, the one that he's been promising is going to happen 2 weeks since his first term. But apparently what he was going to say was that he was thinking about extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies, the Obamacare subsidies, for about 18 months, perhaps 2 years, which, by the way, wouldn't have been a bad thing. Like, that would have been a good thing if he made that announcement. But then all of these MAGA Republicans in the House and Senate revolted, and more of them threatened to resign. They said, you make this announcement, Donald, because we've been out there saying that we're here to kill Obamacare because that's what you said we're going to do, right? That's why the MAGA Republicans shut the government down in the first place. They're like, we're going to resign, and good luck. You're going to have Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. So then Donald Trump pulled back the announcement and then shut it down to the press. So here's what happened on CNN. We're there.
And he cut her off to declare only Rosie O'Donnell. Not in 2025, not now. Rosie O'Donnell told Ireland's Late Late Show that Trump had it out for her for 20 years. He was very angry, to say the least, she said, and he hasn't let it go, and he sort of uses me as a punchline whenever he feels the need. 20 years. A president of the United States maintaining a documented, publicly expressed grudge against a talk show host for 2 decades because she told the truth about him on television in 2006.
This was not a good night for the president. Everything he touched was a loser. Trump hasn't been this embarrassed since he found out there was a Donald Trump Jr. If you're tired of all the losing, fear not, he's got an excuse.
In defiance of the Constitution. He's selling things from the office. He's taking money and gifts from other countries, the emoluments clause. He's breaking every law and every rule that we have in our country, and no one seems to be able to.
Was told by ABC that his show was canceled. No, they weren't. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there.
People saying I'm canceling my trip to Disney, I'm canceling my Hulu, my Disney Plus. $4 billion in 4 days. Bravo, America. And this is how much power we have. And don't let them tell you we don't.
Told he's going to go and speak to the press, right? He's going to go and announce this plan, this executive order that maybe would have extended the Obamacare subsidies. By the way, it still would have had to have been passed by Congress, but this would have been a good development. And then all of a sudden they're like, nope, he's actually canceled it. This is how frantic it is right now in the White House. Let's play this clip right here.
We're learning President Trump is planning to unveil a new health care proposal. And at this point, we're still waiting to know exactly what's in it, but we're told it could include a temporary extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are due to expire at the end of the year. They were at the center of the government shutdown. However, the subsidies could come with some fresh guardrails that could include new income limits and a requirement that everyone pay some form of a premium. Now, we should note that if the subsidies do expire, millions of Americans are expected to see their premiums more than double next year. Zach Cooper is joining us now. He's a professor of health policy at Yale University. Zach, thanks for being here. As I noted, we are very much still waiting for specifics here. I'm sorry, this has actually been, sorry, Zach, we're getting breaking news while I'm talking to you. I have learned that the White House has postponed its expected unveiling of this new health care proposal. It was expected to be unveiled today. We'll learn more, hopefully, about that in the coming moments. But again, this is postponed, but we can talk about the ideas here.
All right, now, while Donald Trump is hiding in the Oval Office yesterday, he then announced late last night that he's going to be leaving Washington, D.C. tonight. right? So yesterday he shuts down the Oval Office, kicks out the press. He's frantic, probably throwing ketchup. I don't know that for a fact, but probably. I don't know. But then he announces late last night that tonight.
Before I keep going, drop a comment right now. One word, one reaction, whatever you're thinking. Every comment pushes this video to more people who need to see it. Comment now, then let's keep going. Now let's talk about what Trump did to her in 2025, because the citizenship threat is the key that unlocks everything else. In July 2025, Trump posted on Truth Social, "Because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interest of our great country, I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship."
Smithereens, and says it was ratings that got me fired. Has anyone ever been fired for bad ratings on a Wednesday? This was his big closer. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. And he does know bad ratings. He has some of the worst ratings any president has ever had. So, on behalf of all of us, welcome to the crappy ratings club, Mr. President. Next, he'll try to sue us. And I want to say good luck with that, because we thought about it, we packed the courts, and we have a surprise ace up our sleeve, Mr. Judge Steve Harvey. That's right.
He's leaving. He will be in Florida on the taxpayer dime. He'll be golfing. Who knows? Maybe he'll do some Great Gatsby themed parties. Maybe there will be half-naked women dancing in martini glasses. Who knows? Maybe the slogan will be a little party never killed nobody. Maybe some synchronized swimming. You know, they could flaunt their money while Donald Trump makes the American people suffer. And suffer indeed is what's happening in the United States. Let me just show you what's going down. Headlines from the past 24 hours from the Washington Post. More Americans are getting their power shut off as unpaid bills pile up. Average electricity costs have risen 11% since January, more than 3 times the rate of inflation. For the first time, we're behind on all our utilities, one Ohioan said. But that's probably what all Americans are saying right now, because those electricity prices are so freaking expensive right now. I know when I get them, because I had them on direct pay, that every time I get them, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Late car payments are piling up at record levels as more drivers face delinquency. How about this from the Texas Manufacturing Outlook survey from the Federal Reserve Bank in Dallas? We don't know if it's the shutdown or just that demand has dropped, but our orders, manufacturing, construction, in general, have dropped in half. Or how about this? Exclusive from Reuters. Americans waiting for Obamacare subsidy delay or drop their health insurance. So because Congress has not extended the Affordable Care Act subsidies, people are now losing their Obamacare plans because people aren't renewing.
She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America. Threat to humanity. From the President of the United States about a comedian who had moved to Ireland. Let's be clear about what this actually was. Trump has no constitutional power to revoke the citizenship of a person born in the United States. This is settled constitutional law, but he posted it anyway, because the point wasn't the legal threat. The point was the chilling effect, the signal to his base, the message to every American watching that there are people this government considers enemies.
You to know the number, and Trump's name appears 2,020 times. 2020. Wasn't that also the year they stole the election from him? That is an unlucky number.
Anyway, long story short, Trump went to sue CBS, isn't that right?
Yes, because of an interview on 60 Minutes where he didn't like the way he was edited or that Kamala Harris was edited.
So even though the legal team thought he'd win, they still paid out the $16 million, and Stephen Colbert basically said it was a bribe.
Which it was.
It's a Democrat hoax, and the reason he refused to sign an executive order to release the files months ago is because it's a waste of time. And that's the thing about Donald Trump. This is not a man who wastes time on nonsense.
We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House.
This is an executive order relating to the use of paper straws.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
They're not able to purchase their insurance because the prices are going up. So officials from several USA states say Americans relying on subsidies to afford Obamacare health insurance are holding off on enrolling as they face 2026 premium hikes that could more than double, with one state seeing enrollment drag as much as 33%. That's covered California. Enrollment is down 33% from the sign-up period last year. Pennsylvania has seen a 12% decrease in new enrollees from 2025 to 2026. Similar drop-offs in Virginia, Maryland, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. In Washington state, we've seen a drop-off of about 21% as well. And of course, we don't get red state data because they don't share it and they don't care about their people getting kicked off of health insurance. How about this stat right here as well, or this headline from KPBS? How fear of Trump's immigration blitz is changing life in California farm towns. Hint, hint, he's killing California farms, which, by the way, you could be like, oh, Donald Trump is owning the libs in California. First off, the farm towns tend to actually lean more right-wing if in the central-ish, kind of northern-ish California area. Those are the areas that actually tend to vote for Trump. And guess where the produce goes? To the rest of the country. You're screwing everybody, and this is further increasing, making prices higher, harming the American consumer, and just harming American business. Like, what are we doing here? People don't want to shop or go out to eat. They're scared to come out because of the color of their skin.
With a tangerine spray tan, the White House responded, not to refute the substance, not to address the policy question, not to explain why the President of the United States had threatened a comedian's citizenship because she criticized him on the internet. The White House spokesperson Taylor Rogers called Rosie and Joy Behar irrelevant losers with too much time on their hands. And this is the part that tells you everything. Added, our country is better off with Rosie living abroad. Our country is better off.
Love to know what's going through Trump's head right now. On Friday, he's holed up in the White House, blasting music so loud everyone in the area could hear it. Nothing to see there, just the president alone in the White House blasting Phantom of the Opera at full volume while rage tweeting about how everybody's out to get him. And he also turned the volume up to 11 for a number from Elton John.
Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is blasting out of a speaker over in the Rose Garden, over here onto the North Lawn. As we understand it, in talking to some folks,
Also a significant issue right now that Trump is getting massive backlash for is the way that he's just rolling out AI in such an unregulated, unfettered fashion, allowing AI companies to run roughshod over the American people. You want a data center? Sure, go ahead, build data centers. Who cares if it sucks out all the electricity and causes everybody's electricity prices to rise? That's the Trump regime policy here, and the people absolutely hate it. The implications of AI, both from the perspective of replacing the jobs of the American people and those data centers that are just destroying local communities, cities. By the way, those data centers suck up more energy than like 2 to 3 Atlantas combined in some of these data centers. I had a great conversation with Senator Bernie Sanders about AI and about the danger that it could cause. And look, there's a way to harness it for good, but we can't just unleash it the way that this regime is doing it, which is going to destroy people's futures and also just make energy incredibly more expensive. So you got people like Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, saying, according to today's Wall Street Journal, AI-related investment accounts for half of America's GDP growth.
The press secretary of the United States deploying official White House communications resources to respond to a comedian's Instagram post and announced that the country is better off without her. She skipped her daughter's college graduation in the United States because her security team told her it was not wise. She was advised that Trump would use her presence to rile his base. An American citizen, born and raised in this country, cannot attend her child's college graduation because the president might use her as a prop.
Press conference right before we were live, where he had a teenager, Tara O'Connor, who was Miss Teen USA. She had kissed a girl in the village, and they took a picture and put it on all the newspapers. And he made her do a press conference where she apologized, and it looked to me like a pimp and a prostitute.
And I said that on the air. And then I proceeded to list facts, not hyperbole, just facts about who he was and what he did. Bankrupt all these times, money from his father, not a self-made man, can't quantify his riches on.
A reversal would risk recession. We can't afford to go backwards. Meanwhile, you have Steve Bannon telling ABC that he warned Trump administration's AI agenda could crush the working class, fracture MAGA, and cost the GOP in 26 and 28. He's working to turbocharge the base to revolt against AI in these data centers inside MAGA's fight to stop the AI revolution. And while all of that's happening, and again, while all of this is happening, Donald Trump is hiding. Marjorie Taylor Greene is reposting the following from Ann Vandersteel. It's over. The whole MAGA psyop is over. It's America only, ride or die. Don't slide into my DMs whining about flipping on Trump. He flipped on us. They're calling it a MAGA psyop. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene and former MAGA followers.
And continue the late-night Truth Social screeds that his own former White House attorney says prove he is clearly insane. The receipts are in his own voice. The hypocrisy is on his own timeline. The archive is documented, verified, and searchable. And 2 people, one in Los Angeles, one in Cork, are reading it back to him every day. Share this video. Subscribe if you haven't. $9 a month keeps this going. Link in the description. And comment right now, because this archive is public, and every American deserves to know what's in it. This is America Facticity. I'll see you in the next one.